Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello and welcome again. You're listening to Colney Talk Podcast. I'm your host Alex with another bite-sized show for you here today. I'll be talking about Arsenal and Bournemouth. I'll be talking about my top three players in the game and the other guy. The game started out real fast, which we just took the fight to them. Yes, it's another game that should be more than, the scoreboard showed, but it was satisfactory for the most part. So let's get right to the top three players of the game. First, Jesus. No surprise there. Gliding with the ball inside the box, passing to Martinelli, having a shot blocked, and Odegaard cleaning it up. Jesus just did the business. It was yet again another impressive performance and leading to the second goal in the game as well. Yes, he didn't make that. He didn't score that, but it did feel like he was the co-creator of that. And he did deserve the credit so much as he brought the game, glided, through into the box and making that happen. And it's just becoming more and more about the player and how much he brings so many other dynamics to the game. How he really, just creates a lot of, threats with his passes, with his movements, and just making his presence, so focal in there. And though he didn't score that second goal, his celebration was good enough. You could see that he was so happy when they were celebrating, that was just it. And a shame his goal was canceled for offside, that which would have been the fourth goal. So that was it. But he takes one of the spots for the top three. And next up, we have Odegaard, obviously very, very alert in the box. He scored two goals, really being, ever present, Johnny in the box kind of thing. And there was barely much pressure on him, just the way he got the ball, just moving around, at the edge of the box and just staying very compact in the final third and cutting through inside the box. It was another great display by Martin, and his link up with Saka and Jesus was just great as well. He just was able to make that connection because on the left side, where you have Martinelli and Zinchenko, they just really had that real on lockdown. And the fact that he just turned his attention for the most part to Saka, who really did play good as well, felt like that was the best link up that he had to start creating between himself and White. So he was really another good player that came into the top three spot for this game, and he maintained the same level of performance like he did with Leicester. So another great performance, and just seeing how he can consistently be that good of a player, and I'm sure there's going to be so much more that we would see. And then the third guy is Zinchenko. I picked him because he was so good. He was just dropping sublime passes to Martinelli into the box. His passes just cutting through to Xhaka, from all the way from the left side of the left back position, and then coming right in and really making such a very dynamic, switch it in position and staying real tucked in. He was just so good. He makes you enjoy the game the way he brings his own, good technicality and just his vision to contribute in that, pocket of his of where he, in the game. He just owned the left side of the field, cut every other outlets for Bournemouth, and they just couldn't keep up. And he was also at the same time maintaining their pressure, putting on the pressure to keep, recovering any ball. It's not a coincidence that he had the most possession won in the game with 9. The next guy, which was Jefferson Lerma of Bournemouth, just came in with second with only 5 possessions. So you can tell that the difference, you can see here that it was quite a gap. He was very active. It's always a good thing to have several players that you're not really sure who would be the man of the match or who would get the 8s and 9 for the game, but he was just one of those standout performances, and that goes to show how exceptional he was in the game. I enjoyed watching, making so much great passes. He just really showed up today in the game. Now, the other guy today was Thomas Partey. Yes, the boys played really well. He wasn't that bad in the game, but he had a number of errant passes that just broke the flow of how they were moving. He just did it a couple of times, like we don't expect anyone to be perfect. You make some of these mistakes here and there, but he had so much more errant passes and breaking the flow of the game from how they were building from the back up. Some passes that he sent out to Saka, he already even was signaling to him, like he made a mistake here and there, and it was just so much. I expected better from him in that game. He did so much of breaking the flow of the game than anyone else, which makes him become that guy in this game. When you see poor passes like this, you immediately notice how everyone reacts, expectedly so, to reset, get the ball back, pick up the flow again, and try to move and gain more control to score or impose himself. It was a good sign of how the team should respond, a good sign of how the team has grown to this level in the competition and the way they expect to continue to move, and the instructions in their training of how this has been really, sort of ingrained into the way their system of play. So that was great to see, but Thomas Partey shouldn't have done quite a lot of these errant passes. He did have so much of that. So today, for the game, he's that other guy outside of my top three. Overall, quite a very nice game. It just really was the only outlier that I saw for the most part. Now, I would like to give a special mention to Saliba, because the way the away fans indoctrinated his song and he topped it off with an incredible goal. I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any better. He was just so good. Performed really well again. Had a lot of support from the crowd, and I'm talking about the away fans. Listening and watching this game, you would see how much we could hear the echoes, and that was actually the background of the game. It really continued going constantly over and over again, and reading it and hearing from other, podcasts and other writers just talk about how much the away fans really just serenaded him with his own song and just the entire game. It was really good to see. So again, kudos to the away fans. You guys continue doing great things for the Arsenal when they come to play or other grounds, and you really did show up, and that was a good thing to see. I rewatched that goal that Saliba scored. It was really good. It wasn't just one of those quick slot in or lucky shots. It was good, like a very good technique. It's a type of goal that you would expect or think category of Jesus, Martinelli, or Odegaard scoring. They would just it's describing it would do it injustice, but it was sort of something to mention. I don't think anyone would go without bringing that up because it was such a nice highlight. So my top threes and one for the game. It was real good job done for the boys. We probably would have loved to have gotten a few more goals, but a win that is the main point, and we kept going. So that's how much I could take out of the game. Well, that's it for this episode, folks. Stay tuned as I discuss our next game against Fulham. It'll be a bittersweet seeing a familiar face in goal for Fulham, which is Leno. But at least we kind of hope the best for him, but not when he's playing against us. So until then, thanks again for listening to the Colney Talk podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.